There are stories about heroes, there are stories about monsters, and then there are stories like Chainsaw Man, stories about people who were never given the luxury of becoming either. The Chainsaw Man movie doesn't rush you, it doesn't scream for your attention, it pulls you in quietly, and then devastates you when you're vulnerable. This isn't just a movie about chainsaws, devils, or blood. It's about touch, about desire, about what happens when two broken people recognize themselves in each other for just a moment, and how the world punishes them for it. And by the end, it leaves you with a kind of emptiness that feels kind of deliberate. Let's talk about the craft first, because it matters. The animation is immaculate, but not flashy for the sake of it. Every movement has weight, every still frame feels intentional. The color palette is restrained, pale blues, washed out grays, muted reds. The world feels tired, worn, like it's already lost something. Before the story even begins, this is a world that doesn't believe in happy endings, and the artistry understands restraints. Sometimes the most powerful thing isn't motion, it's stillness. A quiet street at night, a girl standing under a streetlight, two hands almost touching. The soundtrack complements this perfectly. It doesn't overwhelm emotion, it amplifies it. Long stretches of silence disrupted by distant echoes, low hums, and sudden violence. You don't watch this movie, you sit inside it. And when the violence comes, it's feral. The fights aren't heroic, they're ugly, messy, panicked. Denji doesn't fight with elegance, he fights like someone cornered, swinging wildly, screaming at the universe to give him one more second of existence. Chainsaws tear through bodies, not as spectacle, but as inevitability. There's no glory here, only survival. And that desperation bleeds directly into Denji's character. Denji is one of the most tragic protagonists in modern anime, not because he suffers the most, but because he doesn't even know what he's missing. He grew up without affection, without safety, without education, without anyone telling him what love looks like. So his desires are simple, almost embarrassingly so. He wants warmth, he wants closeness, he wants someone to choose him, not because he's special, but because he exists. Denji doesn't have the emotional vocabulary to recognize manipulation or toxicity. He only knows how rare it feels when someone looks at him like he matters. That's why Reze destroys him. Reze doesn't arrive like a villain, she arrives like a possibility. Her presence softens the movie. The pacing slows, the colors warm slightly, the world feels livable. The dates between Reze and Denji are some of the most sensual scenes in Chainsaw Man, not because of explicit sexuality but because of intimacy, shared food, shared laughter, awkward pauses that feel honest. Reze gives Denji something revolutionary, a version of life where he isn't Chainsaw Man, just Denji. And then comes the line that quickly shatters everything. I didn't go to school either. It's devastating, not because it's dramatic, but because it's gentle. In that moment, Reze isn't a weapon. She's not a spy. She's not a devil hybrid. She's just another child who was never given a chance. And Denji understands that immediately. Yes, Reze is dangerous. Yes, she betrays him. Yes, their relationship is toxic. But toxicity doesn't erase sincerity. Reze is trapped by the same system that trapped Denji. She just learns to survive differently. And that's the tragedy. They recognize each other too late. Their connection isn't healthy, but it's real. And for someone like Denji, real love doesn't come twice. By the end, after everything, Denji still waits. That's the moment that breaks people. Why would he wait? Why would he still love her? Because Denji doesn't fall in love with safety. He falls in love with recognition. Reze saw him. Not Chainsaw Man, not Makima's dog. Him. And when you've been starved your entire life, even poisonous food feels nourishing. By the end of the movie, there's a quiet implication, one that hurts more the longer you sit with it. Denji may never love like that again, not because he doesn't want to, but because he doesn't believe something like that will ever return.